Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, even though YouTube has seen fit to remove our option of video responses, that doesn't mean that we still can't make videos to respond to or expand on certain topics of other videos. We just can't attach them anymore. If we want the intended individual to know about the video, we're going to have to contact them, maybe through a PM or something of that nature. And that's sort of what this is going to be, is a response video. Yesterday evening I was watching a video from Hiberniason, an individual that I thoroughly enjoy his videos, enjoy listening to his perspectives. He includes good information, and he does it in a considerable and professional manner, often including information from manuals or books and from his own military experience. Now, he has been in the military for a good period of time. He has served in 2 different branches of the military. He's been in the Army and he's also in the Coast Guard, and somehow currently he is in the Coast Guard. I don't know if that's Guard, National Guard, or Reserve, or some sort of capacity. At any rate, he made a video talking about EDC, and he shared in that video some items that he carries with him for his own personal protection. And in his scenario, or what he was showing us, is that he was carrying a firearm on a strong side hip, okay, concealed. And in front of the holster of that firearm, he had what he called a retention knife, okay, a knife for the purposes of a retention scenario of his handgun. I thought I would make a video showing you maybe something different. I'm not saying that my method is better or superior in any way, but different. Because I thought that even understanding his line of philosophy, that if he can get inside of that attack and he can bring that knife up, as soon as he gets that knife up, and the knife that he had was a K-bar TDI knife. That's one of those bent knives, and I'll show you one in a minute. But he's immediately has access to cutting arm, cutting into the man's face, throat, whatever. Okay. Now, this may sound extreme to you, but let's understand that sometimes an attack can happen inside of your personal space without provocation, without notice. I know many of us like to talk about situational awareness, and some of us believe that our situational awareness is so acute that we can spot a threat while it's still at distance. Okay? The fact of the matter is, we also have to understand that that attack can explode right in our face and on top of us. Okay? The element of surprise and the fact that action is faster than reaction gives the attacker or attackers an advantage. We have to understand that in this type of attack, it is life or death. If you are fighting for the possession of your firearm, you are in a life or death struggle, and you must win. If you lose your head or give up, you will neither win or live. And that is the way that you have to approach the training to deal with such a situation. Now, I know that there's a gazillion different scenarios, modes of carry for both a knife and for both a handgun. I'm going to stick with what he was showing, and I'm going to add I'm going to add the difference on what I do to give you another example. Now, retention isn't talked about enough, but it is a very important, vital subject that we not only must understand, but we also must be able to defend. Okay? Someone is trying to gain possession of our firearm. Now, that can happen in multiple different ways. Maybe they notice that you have a firearm if you open carry. If you conceal carry, maybe you have somehow, even though you have carefully tried to conceal your firearm, but maybe you sat in a chair, maybe the covering garment was pulled in tight around the firearm and revealed that you have a firearm. Maybe you bent over and exposed some of the holster or maybe the gun itself. Whatever. Someone is trying to make a grab for your gun, and they've attacked you inside a very tight, close space. Your personal space, arm length around. It's exploded upon you. I cannot overemphasize how deadly this encounter is. All right. And another scenario, which is also likely, is that you were attacked in this personal space and you tried to retrieve your firearm. And your attacker or attackers see you making that movement, are now trying to gain access to that firearm as well. Okay. It seems like most of the time we talk about retention has to do with people are defending or whatever positions on open carry versus concealed carry. But realistically, retention of your firearm can be an issue, can be an attack, whether you conceal or open carry. Okay? If you are attacked in that personal space. I like to call that learning to fight in a phone booth because of its proximity. Now, I choose to carry a knife most of the time for the purposes of defense, and with the idea that it is a good choice to aid me in retention of my firearm. Okay? And I choose to do so here in an appendix type carry. Now this is another TDI K-bar knife, but this is the large version. This was the first one that I bought like this. Okay? And you can see that it's bent. So you can basically, as soon as you grab the knife and deploy the knife, you can slash and you can thrust. You can do all types of things. Now my weak side is really my weak side. Okay? I have not done nearly enough training shooting and doing other things with my left hand. Okay? But I can grab a hold of this knife, and you saw that it was very quick in its deployment, and get right to work. A right-handed person trying to take my firearm, being a right-handed individual, he's going to be reaching across me. I have learned that even in tight spaces that I can turn, I can maybe try to pull that individual towards me to get him off of balance, punch him, gouge out his eyes, whatever it takes to win this fight. One of the options that I have is deploying the knife from the appendix carry on my weak side and cut and punch and get him off of me, so that I not only retain my firearm, but then I can also create space and deploy my firearm. Okay? Very important skills, and you need to learn them. Fact of the matter is, many times these attacks is going to result with you being on the ground, and you better have skills of fighting while you're on the ground. The knife in the appendix carry on my weak side, I can get to that knife with either hand. Okay? And whether I am blocking and doing all these other things, maybe trying to get somebody's hands off of my throat, I have a way of getting to a knife and using the knife to aid me in my defense. So I like carrying the knife on the weak side. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I usually carry the small TDI knife from K-Bar, like the one that Hiberniason showed. I use the large one in this video because it's easier to see. And, you know, it's easy to deploy. A lot of people like folding knives as a use for a defensive blade. But let me suggest this. If you are going to do that on the weak side, you're going to have to make sure that you get a knife that is compatible with left-hand carrying. And then there's always the case that it doesn't always come out. There's not a single person that's ever carried a folder that at some point in time or another, when they're showing off how quick they can be with their knife, the knife doesn't fully deploy. You do not have that as an issue when you carry a fixed-bladed knife. Okay. And besides that, you cannot get your knife out of your pocket or wherever you carry it and open that blade and have it ready to use faster than I can just grab and pull. So, these are things to consider, right? You must have martial skill. If you're going to use a knife, you must think out how you can deploy that knife in many different scenarios. And believe me, you're not going to be able to think about all of them. But you don't want to try to figure out what to do when somebody is already on top of you trying to kill you. Alright folks, I appreciate you watching this video. Important stuff for you to consider. Again, I'm not trying to say my way is better than Hiberniason's way. I am saying you need to find a way. to win that fight. All right, folks, thank you for watching. I certainly appreciate it. And remember to shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.